Hello and welcome to another episode of Heroes and Thieves, where each week we create a world using 3 nouns, and the only limit is our imaginations.
I'm Greg.
And I'm Michael, and I've got the nouns this week, so let's get to it. All right, so this week is the first week of October, okay? So yep. I didn't want to go too heavy on the, spooky Halloween, but I did want to introduce one little noun to start us off with that does have a little October theme to it. So
perfect. Yes.
You'll indulge me here. The first noun this week is ghosts.
Ooh. Ghosts.
Yeah.
Oh man, a world of ghosts?
Yep.
Okay, what comes to mind first? Casper. That's what comes to mind first.
we have different thought processes.
First thing that comes to mind is that old VHS tape we used to have of Casper. There's like 50 Casper cartoons. I used to watch all of them.
Yeah.
Let's
First
see.
thing that comes to mind for me is, a little pottery making, a little ghost action.
Oh. Okay. All right. I don't.
A little different, but
yeah. I like to keep mine family friendly. Okay. Ghosts. Let's see. So a world where ghosts are a major player.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because, okay, so I'm going to start with the base assumption. In our world, ghosts are remnants, spirits that died most of the time in like long in the past, but they're staying here haunting, and most of the time they're bad.
Okay.
Right? Like they're haunting a house or an insane asylum or a castle or something like that. Because they died there, they were tortured there, or something terrible happened.
Okay.
So, but making a whole world based on terrible happenings creating ghosts is not...
It's a pretty dark world.
Not an ideal world. But what I think of is a world that basically just is a normal fantasy world, but the afterlife somehow is blocked. Like the gate to the afterlife. So if we create some sort of religion that explains the afterlife, and this afterlife is the correct thing, right? Like you die and you go to the gates of this heaven or this afterlife, and maybe you answer a few questions, and whether or not you were a great warrior or a terrible person, you go to heaven or hell.
Okay.
Pretty textbook, obviously Christian based thing there. But for some reason, no matter what it is, for some reason, these dead people could not go because maybe the gatekeeper, maybe the gatekeeper got killed or not.
He had a day off.
He had his day off. He's just like, forget it. You guys are on your own. Not today. I don't.
So this is a world where it's based off of a world, a real world where people are living and dying, and then they just can't cross over, kind of a thing.
Yeah, something terrible happened to that mechanism that crosses them over, and now they can't. And so all these people are just getting stopped. And maybe part of a story here would be that obviously people are starting to see these ghosts because they're trying to send messages, help us.
Or how about this? Or the world that you lived in is everything's still the same. But it's just like this, gloomy new reality that you're in because you haven't crossed over. So you go back to your home, you can't see the people who are alive, but you're just like in your house. There's nobody there. It's just you. Or like other ghosts that couldn't go back, they're still around, and like it's kind of like they're taking back business like usual. It's like, well, I died, but I can't go, so I guess I'll just go back to work. You know, like that kind of thing. It's like, what?
So like, so you're
nothing
saying
better to do.
so you're saying that like everybody can still see them.
Not the people who are alive. Like this is just an alternate phase, you know, like a dimension they pass through. They are dead, but they didn't move on.
They didn't move on, so they're just
here,
chilling with the other people who also did not move on.
Yeah, but like the Earth and their house is still the same. It's just they can't see the people who are alive, and the people who are alive can't see them. So like they go back home and, hey, I'm home again, but I'm by myself. Or like my grandma's here because she died in the same house. She's chilling.
Do they know? So they know that they're dead.
Oh yeah, you know you're dead because like I think when you die, this is my take on real death, by the way. I think when you die, you know you're dead. It's not like you don't know you're dead. You definitely do know you're dead. Like whether you like stand up from your body and you look down and your body's there and you say, hey, I'm dead now. Or if it's just a realization that, hey, I'm dead.
Just like the movie Ghost.
Just like in Ghost. It turns out I only want to talk about ghosts for an hour.
By the way, that movie, we got to go there because that movie first gave me like the real fear of, because remember when the bad guy, I forget his name, I know exactly what he looks like, but when the bad guy got caught and by all the ghosts from the underworld or whatever, and they were going through like the streets and they were all black shadows and stuff. Yeah. That gave me nightmares. I still think about it.
Extremely creepy. Yeah, like dragging his shadow away. That was whew.
But then didn't he or somebody stand up? Yeah, he stood up over his body and watched the police or whatever, like working with his body as he came to the realization, because that's when the ghost came and chased or tore him down.
So you know, like just like Ghost, which is a great movie, you know you're dead.
Right. Okay.
Just like that. And so you know you've died and you have this like sense of knowing like, okay, it's time to cross over, and you go to that gate. Somehow you know like, okay, I gotta go now. I'm going to the afterlife. Or like a messenger comes and tells you or something like that. And then you go to the gate and there's a note on the door that says, sorry, buddy. Not today.
Just a note saying, I'm off.
Yeah, check in next Tuesday.
Access is done. The ferry's not running.
Or like, it says like internal conflict happening. Check back as soon as you can, kind of a thing. You know, like just a note, like very vague, like companies in strife, but we don't want to tell you exactly what's happening.
There's a heavenly government shutdown.
Yes, there's a strike that's happening. You know, the angels aren't getting enough, angel juice. So
yes, the angel juice.
They're not doing it. They're not going to take down these dead people. Anyway, so there's ghosts that are like somehow continuing their life in their other life. That could be a thing.
Right. So these ghosts are basically just living in an alternate. Well, no, they're living in the same world as we are, but separate because they can't see us and we can't see them at all, ever.
Yeah.
In any
so
circumstance.
So it's like the real people don't exist. They're not even a thing in this world. It's just like you move on and you're stuck, and the real people are just not even to be considered. They're so unimportant at this time.
Question.
In the world. Yeah.
What about the home itself? Because does the home now exist in a physical and spiritual plane, I guess?
I don't know. I want it to be more fun than that. Like, I want it to be like a super magical, like fun house. What I'm about to say is not fun, but
okay,
I'm going to say it.
Go on.
Because the only thing that's coming to mind in Beetlejuice, when he goes to like the Beetlejuice place and there's like the houses are crazy and the people are all like dead and weird, like that, like not so Beetlejuicy, but like it's totally wacky, like your house is upside down, but that's just like, maybe it's like how you envisioned your life when you died at the point of death is how your world in the ghost reality is. Like maybe that's how it manifests itself. Like if everything was on upside down in your life at the time of death, like your house is physically upside down.
Oh,
like
that's
something
that.
like that.
Okay. That would be an interesting dynamic because maybe the form or fashion in which you died, or like you said, the emotional state in which you died, is how your new reality is built. And
Oh
so,
yeah,
so
yeah,
all these different people, just like you said, like if you were horribly murdered by an
hmm
axe murderer, you
yeah.
would you would wake up in this place that is very spooky. It's a little gruesome. Maybe everybody's headless because you got your head cut off. So everybody in your new reality
Okay,
is headless, and your house is, the lamp is a like a
a
like a
leg, a
a
leg
leg
lamp.
a leg lamp, possibly, or
Okay,
or if you died peacefully in your bed, as just a nice old person, you
you've got a
wake
great
up.
ghost world.
Yeah, you wake up in just a beautiful little ghostly cottage with, deers and rabbits
Huh.
and squirrels outside. You're like a Disney princess when you wake up in your new reality.
So it's like my everyday.
Exactly. Do you, I mean,
Great.
well,
I wake up to squirrels at my window, apple pies being baked.
do
It's
birds come
just
to your hand when you hold
yeah,
your hand out?
and I sing with them in the morning when I
Wow.
get up.
Incredible.
Yeah,
Then your spiritual
it's
life is
wonderful.
going to be fantastic.
I know. Hopefully, I don't get my head cut off. So knock
That'll
on
ruin,
wood.
that'll ruin it all. Yeah. All it takes is one bad night.
Yeah, that's true. That's pretty cool though. That's a cool idea of like your afterlife is shaped by the end stage of like how you went. Like if everything is great, you're on top of the world. It's great. If
Well, I
you're-
think a cool a cool way to think about that world is to like the TikTok trend recently where it's, tell me you're in this sort of thing without actually telling me. So the game would be, tell me how you died just by showing me your house, and then I can guess how you died.
that's interesting. I don't TikTok, but that's an interesting thing the kids are doing nowadays. I guess
It is.
I don't follow that.
Maybe you should. Then again, I don't think I've seen Beetlejuice, so we're even.
Really?
If I have,
Okay.
it's been years and years and years, and I do not remember it.
That's by the by. I want to imagine that this world, now getting more into the nitty gritty of like the ghost life, the ghost
Okay.
world, naturally, just by the nature of, who I am, I want this world to be fantasy.
Yes.
Like, all the typical tropes that we've touched before, but like with the new introduction of like everybody's a ghost and they're in their final like death state in this new world, but like in the world it's still like there's cottages and farms and castles and stuff like that,
Okay.
but with the idea of the new way it's shaped itself because of how you died. That's really interesting.
But a real problem in this world is that the afterlife is currently blocked off, right? Have we
That's
settled
the
on that?
yeah, that's like the problem. Okay, the problem is they can't get to the afterlife, and now it's like a limbo world state where they can't ever get past their death and why they died. That's why the world is like this. And if they were to get to the afterlife, it would resolve itself.
Right.
But they can't. So I don't know why the afterlife is on strike, but it is. So I guess that's, if we want to talk about that, we can.
That'd be a topic for another time, I think, to decide upon
Yeah.
what happenings happen in heaven or hell or whatever. So if the afterlife for these people would be the same for everybody, right? They'd all go to the same place, but
Yes,
they're
same
currently
place. But I guess what we're saying is their own vision of the place they're all in is different.
not. Right. So right now their vision is they die, and depending on how they died or their emotional state or whatever it was is affecting their existence and their being able to move on. I think there should be a way that this affects the real people too, though, because I think unless you're thinking this world needs to be 100% ghosts, I think there's got to be some way to that this affects our regular living souls.
Yeah, it does. We don't have to be 100% ghost. I just wanted to flesh out the ghosty living, the ghost vibes.
Right. And I think we very much have that they're stuck here, and people die every day very frequently, especially in this fantasy world where I'm sure there's wars and, starving peasants and stuff like that.
Of course. And like dirty rats all over the place.
Exactly. There's a plague all the time. So people are dying and there's a huge blockage, and this is somehow affecting our real world civilians.
Okay.
Making this just a giant spooky world.
Yeah, because you got to imagine some of that ghost juice is coming through the veil, right?
Yeah.
Like
the veils,
you're getting these vibes.
Ooh. Maybe the veil is, you said the word veil. Maybe the veil is getting torn in certain places because the ghosts are crying out for help because they're stuck. And some are so desperately stuck and so just panicky, that they are somehow finding a way to tear a hole through the veil for just an instant in some cases, but it's going to get worse and worse and worse as more people die.
Yeah, and the longer they spend in that reality, the better they might be able to get at piercing that veil.
Right. And depending on their the way they are, maybe somebody's evil, maybe somebody's good, maybe some people just want to say hello to their family one more time, or maybe some want to control or find a way to gain power.
Go back and finish what was not finished. Right.
So I think this is interesting because it affects our real world people, right? There's these tears in the fabric of their reality. Suddenly, the priests and the prophets are either, proven right or proven horribly wrong, depending on what they believed in, or it changes everything about what these people know.
Yeah.
And it, like I said, it just gets worse and worse and worse, probably by the day.
Yeah, because imagine how many people are dying every day. If there's a war, that's, thousands of new souls stuck and all trying to figure it out together. And what is a cool idea to me is when you go to this world, there's people have been there for so long that they're setting up little encampments in towns and groups of dead people. And these groups have figured out how to go through the veil, and they're forming these veil jumping teams that go through and try to accomplish stuff in the real world.
So the dead people are okay. Special elite squadrons of ghosts.
Yeah, I would guess if there was special squadrons when they were alive, there would be those special squadrons when they were dead.
Right. I mean, you would retain the same skills and whatnot. And maybe they're just trying to figure out what's going on. Why aren't we moving on? This isn't what I thought would happen.
Yeah, maybe if we find a magic person, they could bring us back.
Yeah. So
maybe that's the goal.
Oh, bring them back. Yeah, that makes sense because they don't want to be dead, right?
Right, of course.
Most people don't want to be dead. They would rather be alive.
Yeah.
I think there's a few who would be willing to accept their fate as...
Well, especially living in this limbo land where it's awful. All the people that they're with are going crazy. So they don't know the possibility of rest in the afterlife. So it's just this, I want to go back to life. This is awful. I need to get back.
Right. They're just, because they're living in a place, quote unquote place, that they shouldn't be, because they should have normally just moved on. So now they're sitting in the gray world. Yeah,
I called it limbo land, but you kind of ignored that.
Oh, limbo land? Well, I mean, I guess that...
I was hoping it would catch on, limbo land.
I guess that goes with the spooky vibes. It's like a theme park. Welcome to Limbo Land.
It's Limbo Land. Enjoy your stay.
Yeah. Does everybody talk like that? Like the like the elevator from Disneyland?
Yes, of course.
Everybody talks. I don't remember the line, but
I don't know.
is the elevator going down? Or are the walls moving up? I don't remember.
All of their sentences end in like upwards inflection.
Yeah.
So it's always like this. And they're very like, I don't know what you want. I can't do it.
We're not cut out for that. I'm not ready to be a cast member.
No, I don't ever want to do that. So, okay, the goal of these ghosts is to get either to the afterlife, which I think they're probably giving up on at this point, and then, or getting back to reality, or taking revenge on reality. Like that's what they want.
Right. They're either banging at the gates of heaven or whatever, saying, "Let us in," or they're looking back, saying, "Let me go back. I wasn't done yet."
Right.
Yeah. And I think this is a great start, because I really like the idea of how it affects our real world people, just suddenly seeing a rift in the veil of space and time, or whatever, the veil of reality.
Yeah, these random rifts tearing open in time.
How that's going, and that'll affect everything in the real world. It could cause catastrophes. It can cause a lot of bad things.
Yeah.
Having ghosts come back. So yeah, I think this is a great start. I like it. I like this world.
And this leads us right into the next noun.
Hit me.
This one's gonna require a little bit of thought on this one. Boxes.
Somehow I knew this was coming. Not tonight. Not now, maybe not later, but I knew that this noun was coming eventually.
Because of my infatuation with boxes?
No, I just knew it was, I don't know. Maybe I do have a sense of the spiritual realm, and I just know. The sixth sense. All right.
All right. That's fair.
Boxes.
What do you think about that? How do we do it?
All right. Boxes. Well, a gift. I'm thinking of a gift somehow. Because I know in some cultures they give gifts to their dead ancestors, and their
Oh, I thought you were going to say some cultures they give gifts in boxes.
in some places it's known, yes. You may not know this, but
rare tradition to even wrap the box,
Yeah. Some people in history have done such things.
They've been known.
I'm not familiar, but
anyway.
No, I was thinking like they give gifts wrapped up, well, like we just talked about, gifts wrapped in boxes, but to the ancestors, to the dead, to provide them something to go to the afterlife with.
Okay, yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking of when you say boxes, because I mean, come on now, what else could it be? The world is a box.
That very well could be. Could be in a box world.
It could be. It's a box world.
It could be a paper mache world inside of a box.
I don't want either of those things.
Okay, we don't need to have them.
I was thinking more boxes, but also I don't think boxes could work in my example I just gave, because these dead people, this whole dead blockage just started. So these traditions wouldn't already be
like how just is just.
Well, I'm thinking it doesn't take long for the afterlife to start freaking out that they're stuck. Like I'm talking a year.
Okay.
Is when we start.
New occurrence.
A year is when we start seeing rifts in the veil, because after a year, these people are fed up. They're saying, this isn't what I wanted when I was killed by an axe murderer. I wanted heaven. I wanted
I
delicious
deserved better.
food on a platter or something. I don't know. But instead, they're just stuck in a limbo land,
Yes.
as you called it.
Yep. Not a great name, but it's mine.
Okay. All right, we can stick with it if you want. I mean,
I'm up to workshop it if you want, but I think moving on past this is boxes. The thing I thought about while we were talking about ghosts for boxes is that the way that they're sending these or like getting through. I'm talking about the people who are alive now. They found out that these tears in space are pretty aggressive and they don't like them because they're creepy and they're messing stuff up. But they found with special box technology, they're able to send items through to the dead zone.
now it's called the dead zone.
I was just sneaking in and see if you were just going to go with it. To the dead zone.
I think I like limbo land better, to be honest.
To limbo land. And they found out a way to send these things and kind of like to seal these rifts and fight off the dead. Just a loose idea of what I was thinking about there.
So they send, hold on now. So they send boxes that are made of a special material, technology, whatever. They send it through the rift to help the ghosts fight.
No, to fight off the ghosts, to not help them.
So they use these boxes to fight off the ghosts.
Yeah, because if this only happened a year ago, there hasn't been a lot of time for research to be done, for the wizards to figure out what's going on here. I'm thinking these people are just trying to stop what's happening. They don't know that it's their loved ones reaching out for help, possibly. It's just like, oh, this is terrible. Get them out of here.
Okay. And are these people that use these boxes or create these boxes, are they a special group of people that, like only smart people can make these or only skilled people can make these?
That I don't know. I don't know who came up with the boxes yet. That's to be determined.
Because to be completely honest with you, it sounds like we're just rewriting Ghostbusters.
Well, they were trap ghosts in boxes. Well, that was much more technical and advanced.
Right, of course. This
we're sending like a bomb in a box to blow up the rift.
Oh.
That's what I was saying. Like to fight back against this rift, they make some sort of box device that for some reason has to be a box, and shove it into the rift, and it just collapses it like a black hole.
So they put it into the rift. They don't put it outside the rift. They actually put it in the rift.
Yeah, we're not trapping ghosts.
And then it disappears or something, and then it boom explodes. The rift is gone, and so is the box.
Yes, the box did not trap anything.
Okay, so we're talking, right, there's no trapping. I got you. So it's only bombing. We're bombing the ghosts.
Yeah, it's a mini ghost bomb.
Okay.
Yes.
A ghost bomb. So then this box, so we have to explain why it has to be a box. Because right now we're just saying it's a box because
we have to use the word box.
Because it's convenient. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, okay. Why does it have to be a box?
Well, because the noun is box, but maybe there's a better way to incorporate boxes rather than bomb boxes.
Well, I'm trying to think of, I know this is probably a terrible idea, but that's what we do here. I'm thinking in nature, in geology, there are rocks that have very specific shapes, is it shale, slate? I think it's shale, where it looks, it's very thin sheeted type of rock. You can break it pretty easily if it's in its own little thin layer.
Okay.
And then there's different types of stones that are, I don't remember what it's called because it's been a long time since I took that class, but it was my favorite class in college, geology. But there are, what's the one rock that, is it magnesium that can light on fire really easily?
believe it or not, I've never taken a geology class.
Okay, well,
So, magnesium sounds like it's a thing that lights on fire.
well, it does, I think. But what I'm trying to get at is there are certain rocks who just by nature itself are shaped in very specific and very accurate shapes. And so we could very easily insert a special type of mineral or something that in nature is only found in the most sacred space or the most hidden space in the mountains or whatever, and it is shaped exactly like a rock.
Got it.
That's the material that we have to go hunt for to get, and that's and that can be our connection. It can connect to the dead very easily. It can connect to limbo land.
Okay,
and then you can blow it up.
So so this is some rock that we're making up, right? It's a box rock.
Correct. There is currently, it's
a magical box rock.
Just so everyone knows, there is currently no rock in the world that can blow up the afterlife. So yes, we are making this up.
Well, that's not. I don't know if that's true.
There's no rock known to our periodic table of elements.
Our wizards have not done the research yet. The jury is still out on afterlife exploding
real
riffs.
world wizards.
Yes, they're still on the case.
Haven't figured it out yet.
I'm still rooting for them.
Yep.
So we have this made up. No, it's not made up. It's fantasy. It's a fantasy box rock, and it blows up the portals to Terror Town. And there's no
Terror Town. You really loving? What was that, alliteration?
Yeah, that one just came. It came natural. It flowed out.
Fright Fest at Terror Town.
Terror Town is what I'm on now.
Okay.
And it's because it's awful. The people on Earth know it as Terror Town. The people dead know it as Limbo. What was it? Limbo Land.
Yeah.
Yes. The Dead Zone was not an alliteration, but it was good.
No. But it got to the point though. I like it.
Yeah. So this Terror Town, these portals that the dead are opening, are they coming out of it? Did we just establish that? Do they come out and like do stuff?
They are starting to. So it's a gradual process.
They're figuring it out.
Yeah. The more people that are there and the more, my idea is the more desperate they get, right? Because even in our world today, the more they, on all these ghost hunter shows, which I love, I watch religiously.
Yep.
They say that like the angrier the ghost was or the more gruesome the kill was, the more the ghost will reach out and the more powerful the ghost is. And so in that same sense, the longer that a ghost has been there and the more desperate it gets to go somewhere, because it wants to go somewhere, the more power it has, as it, at first it was just maybe a whisper or, something like that. And then next they can knock down vases and then they can reach their arm out until eventually, after maybe in a couple years, they can
pop out.
They can full on pop out and spend some time. And
but they're still like ethereal ghostiness. They're not.
Yes,
humanish.
They are still very clearly ghosts. And
yeah,
and I think maybe to a human eye, they are much scarier than the ghost perceives themselves to be. The ghost is just like, hey,
right,
Chad.
Yeah.
Hey, Chad, it's me,
Chad.
Kyle. And Kyle's
Chadius.
like, Chadius, that's not you. You look like a demon.
Right. But he's just trying to help. But there's like the language barrier between the dead and the living.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, I would guess, because like you're dead and you don't have a body. You can't really speak. So all that's coming out is like that.
Right.
Like whispery ghost stuff. Some
whispery, spooky ghost stuff. Yeah. I can get behind that.
And then Kyle's like, oh, I felt a brush on my neck. Oh, what is that? Like in Ghost Hunters.
Kyle's like and subscribe to see more ghost hunting.
See more ghost scratches that I put on myself 2 minutes ago. Okay, cool. So they are gaining the power to get through. And I want to say that, but although they can't really communicate, I want them to be ghosts that can actually like feel and touch and be physical.
They will people. Eventually. Yes. In time, they will.
They gain that.
And I think the alive people are slowly realizing that and also getting a little more desperate. They're like, well, this is just getting worse, wizard. And the wizards are like, I don't know what to do. But
They
they
have so many box rocks.
only have so many box rocks. They're running out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, to the original point, the ghosts will eventually be able to do all those things, plus more. Who knows what else they might be able to do the longer that they're trapped
That's
in
great.
Limbo Land. Terror Town.
Terror Town. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's cool. So we've got these people who die. They try to cross over to the next life and they can't. They're stuck in the Terror Town Limbo Land Dead Zone.
Ooh.
And they are breaking through them each day. More and more people are dying, just like in our world. And they're starting to break through the veil to the real world, and people are freaking out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I want to go into our third noun,
I'm ready.
and I think we can jam on this one a little bit. Hopefully. The
Okay.
third one is planes. Now, not flying planes. I'm talking about planes, like fast rolling planes.
Oh, plains.
Yep.
So not flying planes, not planes of existence,
Right.
but we're talking planes.
Like planes, just a lot of space.
Plain white bread.
A whole lot of space.
Well, I mean, the first thought is that this world is made up of a lot of planes.
Okay. It's just a plane world.
And that's that. Thanks for coming.
We did it.
Let's see. Planes. Ghosts and planes. Maybe.
Yeah. So I'll wet my whistle a little bit here.
Okay.
My thought here, the first one I came up with when I was thinking about this earlier was there's when you're dead, you die, you go to the afterlife, you can't get in, the whole story. But instead of like the town being normal where your house is here, your neighbor's house is next door, and all the stuff that makes a town, everything is separated by these vast plains that the dead have to travel through. So you have your house, and then there's plains that seemingly go on for who knows how long until there's something else, like your neighbor's house. So the distances between objects somehow got exaggerated out into these plain size spaces of just empty nothing.
So what does that mean for the ghosts? So the ghosts, if a ghost dies in a house and wants to go traveling, then you're in for a long haul, much longer than just to go to your friend's house before.
Right. If you wanted to go next door, it would be a week's long walk across a plain of nothing to get there.
Okay. And why? Why is it like that?
Because somehow when you're dead, everything's different. I don't know why. Or maybe just the world is like that. Maybe both existences are like that. Like instead of us thinking about this world as this, it's still a fantasy world, but there's a house, there's like a plot of land with ground and house and trees and all the like, but then there's distances of just space. I don't know if it's empty space, if it's like gloomy, misty space that you kind of just, sail through on this boat raft that you make, and it takes you over to the next plane. Somehow you can propel yourself through this distance.
Are you thinking of a certain Super Nintendo game?
I'm not. What are you thinking of?
Secret of Evermore, when you are in that desert and that skeleton guy takes you on the boat across the desert.
Is it like that?
That's exactly what you're describing.
Well, then let's say it's exactly like that because that's rad. Okay, so, but like instead of desert or whatever, it's just I want it to be like empty space, you know, like just cloudy mist that you're flying through. But this isn't real life. This isn't just the ghost dead now. This is everybody. This is real and dead.
So it's just the way the world is.
You have your little gondola and you get in it and you shove off and you hope you pointed the right way to Steve's house, or else you're just going to float off
or else
to somewhere
you're way off.
Yeah, it's just somewhere you don't want to go.
You have to be to the degree, or else you're not going to Steve's house.
Yeah, and that means these people have been like expert mappers and charters and navigation people that they really got it down to a science how to push themselves off correctly in their little boats.
They really know their stars.
To where they want to go. Yes. And so through this cloudy, dark space, like there's nothing under them. It's just, you're just kind of floating, you know? You're just floating.
Okay. You're just floating on this empty, plain grasslands.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I accept your proposal.
Okay.
But let me hit you with another one.
Go.
And then we'll let the people decide.
All right.
Here's my idea. So mine was, again, we're back to just a regular fantasy world.
All right. No more planes in this world.
No more planes. We're going back. We're bookshelf your idea for a minute because it's a good one. Don't get me wrong. It's a good one. And we can go back to it. But let me hit you with this one. Normal fantasy world. Towns, farms, houses, castles, kingdoms, all that. And we still have the ghosts and the boxes and all that too. Uh-huh. But the ghosts, since they're stuck in this world and they're bursting at the seams in their terror town world.
Paranormal prison.
There's
another one.
Paranormal prison.
That's just off the top.
Exactly. That's genius. So they're sitting in their world, bursting at the seams, and as it's coming undone, it's only coming undone in one spot in our world. Oh no, it could be multiple spots, but not very many. There's not very many tears in reality in our world. And in our real world, those tears they're open and they're expanding. And as they expand, this paranormal world is now encroaching upon the real world, and it's destroying everything in its path. So say, for example, it started in just a small town. Mm-hmm. And one day it's just a tear in the world, and the people are just, what is that? That's not what we like to see. And they start hearing whispers, and then they start seeing ghost hands, and they start seeing ghost bodies. All of a sudden, these ghosts are coming out big time at night, probably to add spooky effect.
Of course.
And then before they know it, this gray bubble is expanding. This ghostly bubble is expanding, and it just envelops and destroys these homes. And then it grows for, yards and yards and yards, and then miles and miles and miles. And as it grows, it just totally decimates everything. So there's no trace of what was behind. So there's not even rubble from that town. There's no trees. There's no nothing. It's just an empty gray plain.
Okay.
And we call it the Gray Plains.
The Gray Plains.
Exactly. And these plains are expanding. And that's why these wizards or whoever is, getting these boxes and trying to help are, on a timeline, of course, because people and everything that this Gray Plain envelops gets destroyed, just totally disappears. And all that's left when you look into it from the outside, all you see is just dead land that are just plains, miles and miles of plains.
So I've got a real nice picture painted in my head here, in my noggin.
Okay.
It's just like as if a lake were expanding out. Is that the idea? But it's like Death Zone. and everything inside gets destroyed, or is it like a cloud that expands out?
I
Or
would
is
I would say
just
it's
a
more
wall
like
of gray death?
I would say it's more like a wall of gray death, kind of like a cloud, but you can see into it pretty clearly. You can see its boundaries. It's like almost, a magical field.
Okay,
But
so it's a reverse battle royale.
oh,
There's
yes.
a dead zone,
Yes,
and it's
yes.
expanding instead of getting smaller.
Yes.
So it's pushing people out of the
pushing
center.
people out, and there could be multiple. There could be only one, but the people have now taken to calling them the Gray Plains, and they're trying to
That's cool.
fight against it somehow. Maybe to give the alive humans a little bit of hope is, maybe these wizards or magicians or clerics or priests or whoever, the good people, the good priestly people can cast some sort of spells or something to hold it at bay for a time, but they know it's only temporary.
Yeah, I feel like we need to retcon the box bombs because they don't really do much in this scenario.
Correct. The boxes, I think, have stifled us. We really need to come up with something better. That's tough.
Yeah.
I know there's something, but it's tough. I almost want to say, going back to trying. See, I don't know. I don't know what significance, the shape of a box has in a culture, like it's like, there's the Star of David. There's, even like a half moon. There's all sorts of
the crescent moon.
There's a crest. Yeah. All that stuff. But like nobody takes a box and just goes, oh yeah, that's the one.
This is my civilization. Is a box.
That's our civilization right there. No, nobody does that. So I'm having a real tough time.
Yeah, it's a hard one. But it needs to fit.
They build boxes as homes.
Their homes are just boxes with no tops.
I mean, aren't we all living in a box?
Well, technically, yeah.
I mean,
living in a box-like house.
Kind of, yeah. We really got to think outside the box here to fit the box in. I can't do it. I really am coming up blank here.
Yeah, it's tough. Well, let's panel that for a minute. Let's talk more about this gray zone. What'd you call it? The gray?
I call it the Gray Plains.
The Gray Plains, yes.
Because you
like
said the
Gray
word plains, right?
Yes, the plane was the idea. I like that more than my idea.
Okay.
But it is pretty like, doomsday. There's a timeline now on the world till it's gone.
Well, maybe instead of just it decimates all objects, but maybe with people it reacts differently, right? Because people have souls, or maybe with anything with a soul. So maybe even in this world, trees and animals have souls, but they're transformed into something else. So it still decimates all non-living things, and so it still does
else.
It still does create planes, but maybe it just changes these people somehow, or it takes away their hope or something like that. Maybe not totally
so they're like
killing
void,
them.
like voids, soulless. Maybe not fully soulless, but on the edge of soullessness.
Right.
Just like
and so
void
so it
people.
does give us. It's less of a sense of just it's just immediate death as soon as you touch it, but it's more of we're losing our humanity in this.
Okay, maybe here's an idea. The planes, they grow, but at some point they become too unstable for the dead to keep powering one plane. Okay, because it is people, like dead people, like giving some sort of energy into these planes to make them grow.
Their desperation and anger is what's powering them, I think.
So I'm guessing like they're able to grow this plane out, but at some point they can't do it anymore. They can't hold it, and then it like goes down for a time, and the plane is kind of gone. And then, but they can move around and then get to a new spot and kind of start expanding the plane out again. It's not like a quick thing, but it is like oh no, the plane's starting to appear here now, and it starts to expand slowly and destroy things in a different spot.
Right. And so that makes maybe these ghosts aren't organized, because I don't like the idea of the ghost organizing into armies or whatever, and creating their own faction, but they are organized in their desperation and in their anxiety level. That's the one thing they have in common, and is their desire to still be in this land. And so the real fight here, the crux of the whole argument, is the humans are saying, hey guys, you're dead. Your time's up. I know it sucks that you died, but you need to stay dead. And the dead people are saying, what are you talking about? This land is ours. We deserve to be here. We fought for this, whatever. And so
like we can't do anything else. We're stuck.
And also we literally can't. Yeah. Because,
this is it for us.
Charon's taking the day off.
Yeah.
So we can't
took his coin and I'm out of here.
Yeah. He's going to the market.
Yeah.
So I really like that. So it gives our, alive people still a sense of they can do something about it, but there's still got to be a time limit. There's a real world-ending situation here, or world-changing situation.
I've got it.
Okay.
The box idea. It's coming back.
Okay.
It's like it's like these boxes that magical people can make, and they can only make them so big because there's not enough magic to go around in this world. It takes a lot of magic to make one of these boxes. So I'm guessing it's probably like a storage container, maybe like 20 feet long by 10 feet wide by 10 feet high. Okay, that's the box. And they can make a bunch of them, but they can't make them much bigger than that because, the wizards, they do run out of their wizardy power after imbuing it for that long. So they make this box, but the wizardy power makes it impervious to the gray plane effect. So people, when the gray plane's happening and they don't want to move, they say, okay, you and you can get in the box and stay there for however long the plane's going to stay. Hopefully you have enough resources inside. When the plane's gone, you'll be fine. You can come out. But everybody else, we're going to leave because we're able to outrun the plane.
So this box is like a little safe room.
It's a safe room.
They can stay in until... So they could be in there for days or for centuries. They might create a civilization. Oh no, you said it's pretty small, but okay.
Yeah, it's like, it's not that big. So like they have to make a bunch of them.
Right. So
they're all over, but there's not enough wizard power to make the whole town out of these boxes. It's just, there's like one box per city, and only the elite of the elite can stay in the box. Okay. And there's resources enough for however long they need to live in there.
Okay. I dig that. This kind of reminds me of, turns out I was wrong because I'm, not very well educated.
As usual, yes.
Yeah, as usual. But I just remembered, again from college, there is, I forget where it is, somewhere in the Middle East, because it's a holy Muslim site, but it's called the Kaaba. I don't know how to say it, but it's one of those two. But it's a giant black cube, and it's a very sacred place of worshiping in their religion. But it is just a giant black cube, and so you kind of reminded me of that.
That's awesome.
Where it is a place where they worship, they pray at that place, and it's very sacred. So it's kind of reminds me of that, where maybe but in our world, these people, instead of worshiping at it or something, they live in it, but for a time. But it's kind of imbued with the same sort of power, I guess. Yeah. Where it's protected from those things, grants these people protection. So that's kind of what it reminded me of. So that's really cool. I like that a lot. And then these boxes, or these cubes, would stand as kind of a testament, assuming this is resolved sometime in the future. They would still stand as like a testament to human fortitude, I guess.
Yeah, these relics of victory that have happened.
But also as a testament to, all the poor people who died because...
Not enough room in the box.
Not enough room in the box. So, sorry.
Yeah, they just have to run. That's it. That's your choice. You leave, or you stay in the box. And so
yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. That paints a good picture in my mind of just you're zooming out over the land and you just see a bunch of boxes in the middle of the gray plains.
Yeah.
And there's people inside these boxes just hoping to survive. Kind of like Noah's Ark a little bit.
Yeah. Like, who knows when this is going to end?
Yeah. We just got to ride it out with what we have.
So hopefully we got enough.
Yeah. Hopefully we have enough. If not, it's going to turn into a little cannibalism.
Don't want to start dipping into the pigs. You know what I mean? We need enough to go around after the drought, the flood's over. Cannibalism is the worst. And that doesn't happen in the boxes, by the way.
Oh, really? Well, I mean,
it doesn't, because the people are better than that.
Are they?
They just die. They're like, I'm real hungry, but I'm not. It's not even crossing their mind. It's a different world.
Cannibalism doesn't even exist in this world.
Yeah, they wouldn't even think of that.
Yeah, because these are just such a good people.
Well, it just doesn't cross their mind.
It's just not something that happens. Maybe they're not made of material they can eat.
Yeah, maybe these people are like just bone and sheets.
This is a kind of a spooky world. Just bone and sheets.
Yeah, they're like Jack Skellington, like bone.
Yeah, that's what I was
clothes.
thinking of. Just you don't cannibalize
maggots.
Jack Skellington and his bride,
except for his head.
Yeah,
is he? He has a pumpkin head, right?
No,
it's not like a bone head. Is it?
Wait,
is it bone?
Who
no,
is
it's
Jack
a skeleton
Skellington?
Head.
I don't even know who Jack Skellington is. I just took that name that you said.
You think I just made it up? The
Nightmare
Before Christmas.
Okay, yeah. No, it's not a pumpkin head.
It's a bone head.
It's just a bone head.
Why is he the Pumpkin King? Because he's just Halloween guy?
Well, because it's Halloween and it just sounds cool. The Pumpkin King. It probably sounded good for that song.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Yeah, it just sounded good for the song. That word flows. Pumpkin.
Yeah.
It's easy to sing.
One day my quick thoughts will be as good as that. Terror Town isn't the best.
Terror Town. I like Paranormal
Plane?
What'd you say? Plane?
No, Paranormal Prison.
The Paranormal Prison.
Yeah.
See, mine was a little more like, what would it actually be called in a fantasy world? The Gray Plains. That's a little more
that's fantasy, right?
But
that's the actual plane that they're making. That's not where they live. They don't live on the Gray Plane. They just make the Gray Plane.
Right. But the people call it the Gray Plane.
Yeah, our people. They say, no, people. This is Limbo Land, you dummy.
What are you talking about? We're all having fun here.
It's all just a ghastly goo going on.
That's what they talk like.
Yeah,
hey,
remember?
guys.
They're all butlers from the Haunted Mansion.
Oh, yes. Of course. How could we forget?
That's every single
dead
person.
It's the first thing that happens when you die. You get a bow tie and a nice suit with the tails on the back, and
your voice drops like an octave.
Yeah.
So it's just, you're always talking like that.
No wonder they want to get out.
Yeah, like, this is awful. I'm somebody's butler the whole time.
I don't want to do this. This elevator's boring.
Yeah, let's destroy some world.
That's sinister.
Which is fitting for a Halloween spook fest.
It sure is. What's the name of this world?
I don't have anything for that.
The pumpkin.
Well, seeing as how we've only talked about pumpkin once and it was about Jack Skellington, I don't know if that's a good name for the world.
That's all I got. I'm not very creative, so I'm sticking with the pumpkin.
Good thing you're on a creative podcast.
That's right.
Anyway, I think that's it for this week.
Yes, very good.
All right. We hope you enjoyed listening to this week's episode as much as we enjoyed making it. As we all know, it takes a village to build a world, so we want to hear your ideas. Send an email to story@heroesandthieves.co. That's story@heroesandthieves.co with your take on this week's words, and your budding story may get a shout out during next week's episode.
That's right. Also, be sure to follow and subscribe on whatever service you're listening with to get updated on all the world building action. We would be so grateful if you helped us out by also leaving a review. Lastly, stop by our Patreon if you'd like to support the podcast and join us on this grand adventure. Thank you so much for tuning in and hearing us out.
See you next week.